Good day and welcome to Infrastructure Weekly, a program that showcases the achievements of the Muhammadu Buhari administration in the area of infrastructure. My name is Sarah Yeku, and together we'll be taking a voyage to some parts of Nigeria where major developments are being made. Wherever you look, the strides are evident. In this week's edition of the program, we will see how the revolution is going on in bridging the infrastructure gap the nation currently suffers from. We'll be back after this timer. Don't go away.
Coming together of opportunities. This is what
infrastructure is the backbone of development, which explains the Buhari government's effort at bridging the facility gap. Infrastructure Weekly is a television package designed to bring you latest information on hundreds of development projects going on in various sectors all over the nation.
There is no state in Nigeria today where you will not see our contractors busy at work.
Power generation, rural electrification, road rehabilitations, national housing scheme, construction of roads and rail lines across the country, you name it.
We are now able to produce 7,000 megawatt of power. That is no longer debatable.
Infrastructure Weekly is Nigerians working together for a better Nigeria. So be better informed to take better informed decisions. Watch Infrastructure Weekly, showing on Channels Television Thursdays 2:30 p.m., NTA Network Wednesdays 5 p.m., and QoTV News Fridays at 8 p.m. Infrastructure Weekly, making development known.
The federal government has reiterated its determination to use infrastructure to aid the nation on the path to sustainable economic development. Minister of Power Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola disclosed this while speaking on the moves to complete the rehabilitation of the Apapa Wharf Road complex. It says the government is ramping up efforts to complete the road before the end of year 2018.
Briefing pressmen at the Presidential Villa Abuja is the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola. Subject of his briefing is the status of the construction of Apapa Truck Park and also the completion of Apapa Oshodi Expressway. He said the road development is clearly the mandate of Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, which has seen other multi-agencies collaborating to aid in the construction.
I think road development is clearly the mandate of the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, especially the works sector by legislation. Of course, there will be multi-agency collaboration, especially when very critical institutions like the Nigerian Ports Authority, the Apapa Port, Tinkan Island Port that are critical to the economy are affected. So there's need for multi-agency interactions, and that's what we've been having, really and truly.
Furthermore, he says the construction of the Apapa Road hit a snag after the work started with the gas line that supported most of the industries were within the right of the way of construction.
It hit a problem because after the work started, we found out that the gas lines that supported most of the industries there to keep them in operation was within the right of way. Now, we were faced with two choices. Relocate the entire gas line, which would cost a lot more in terms of relocation of services and the installation, which was outside the scope of what was essentially a donation to them, or to change the alignment of the road so that we don't damage that gas pipe. So that is what we are dealing with.
The minister said the evaluation process on the sections involving Liverpool Road and the first 5 kilometers out of Tinkan has finished, as the completion of the truck and trailers park will be completed this year.
If you're just joining us on the program, this is Infrastructure Weekly, a program which showcases the strides of the Buhari administration in addressing the nation's infrastructure deficit. For comments, questions, inquiries, and feedback, you can get in touch with us on the social media handles scrolling on your screen. Early 2014, the construction of the second Niger Bridge took off with pomp and circumstance, but unknown to many Nigerians, that was where the story ended until the advent of the Muhammadu Buhari administration. The common refrain by contractors working on most strategic road projects across the country had been that of non-funding of project, but the case is now different. Let's take a listen to the current status report on the state of the second Niger Bridge after the federal government released funding for the project. Appreciable progress has been recorded on the ongoing second Niger Bridge project. It is expected to complement the existing bridge built in 1965. The old bridge needs urgent assistance due to the constant haulage and heavy-duty vehicles that use the only bridge to link the southeastern part of Nigeria to the southwest and the coastal region daily. Speaking on the progress recorded on the job, the Controller of Works in Anambra State says the project took off properly in 2016 and is currently at 44.6% completion.
If you get to the site, you can see from Onitsha end, they've done a lot of fillings in terms of using the sharp sand to fill the embankment. They've done a lot of things on the shoulders. Embankment has been completed to a reasonable stretch. We have a lot of covers that have been fully accomplished. So in all, we have achieved around 44.60% of this phase of early works. And the contract has been split into stages or into phases. Phase 1, phase 2 to 3 have been successfully accomplished. We are now on early works 4, early works phase 4. And what is involved in early works? We have a lot of preliminaries. We have a lot of a part of this early works in stage 4 forms part of the main contract that is about to be awarded.
According to him, an advance payment of 2.166 billion naira was made to the contractor out of the contract sum of 14.466 billion naira for the early work phase 4. He said the bridge design was done to have a long-lasting project that would not only complement the existing bridge, but serve as a vehicle that will enhance economic and commercial activities and a viral connection that will link the two major regions to the rest of the country and beyond.
This bridge is not only for the southern part of the country, indigenous, it's for all Nigerians. People from entire West Africa. People from different parts of South Africa come through Lagos to come to Onitsha here to buy materials and go back. You get my point? So Nigerians have seen it as a very important, crucial route linking the different geopolitical zones. What I will advise them is that the present administration is on focus. They will just watch the government. And in no distant time, they will realize the dividends of democracy.
Engineers at the site affirmed that the second Niger Bridge is no longer a political issue, as President Muhammadu Buhari has demonstrated commitment to realizing the completion of the project.
I've gone through the Asaba end of the bridge. We have shown you where we did the fillings on the embankment, and then we've come to this stage. I've shown you the abutment wall. They have almost substantially completed. This is 120. I told you there are 21 piles that were driven into the earth, and the pile cap is being put in place. Then from this we can go, as this 130 is there, the contractor plans to embark on the pile cap within the next few months. So as you have seen here, there's enough evidence that the federal government is no longer politicking as per the second Niger Bridge. We are on focus, and I believe that in no distant time, that dream will be realized.
But they can see, they can even come down and see, it's very obvious. RCC, they are working, NigerCat, they are working. So everything is, the government is doing what they should do, and it's a good government of which they are working. And they are paying contractors at window. And they don't delay any payment, any interim statement they put up is not being delayed. They pay them as soon as speculators. Since the government came in, They've been working. The contract hasn't been out of job. They've never complained of non-payment of interim statements. Either two of them have each been along this road, so they kept working.
On the issue of compensation of the affected people, the federal government has to a reasonable level handled the issue, and this has paved way for work at kilometers 23 to 31. The engineers further assured Nigerians that the main bridge would not take long to be actualized after the early stage 4 is completed in July 2018.
And the road will collapse.
We'll be back after this time out with a look at the power sector and efforts being made to bring affordable power to all Nigerians. Stay with us. Welcome back. Nigeria recently exited recession after the worst of it in living memories. And with this in mind, the federal government says it is working with stakeholders to ensure the sector has a facelift, especially as it affects electricity supply. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who was speaking at the 26th Power Sector meeting in Umuahia, the Abia State capital, said the hard work continues in the sector to eventually deliver uninterrupted power supply to Nigerians after the improvements that has been achieved so far. He said this will be a game changer for all Nigerians.
While explaining to the state governor the effort instituted to upgrade the country's power generation from barely 1,800 megawatts at the inception of this administration and how it has progressed to 7,000 megawatts power generation capacity, the minister regretted that though the nation's power generation has increased, the distribution sector has not lived up to expectations.
News that our power generation capacity has increased to 7,000 megawatts, so has the transmission capacity, and so has the distribution capacity from where we met it in 2015. But the distribution capacity still lags about 2,000 megawatts behind transmission and generation, and that means we need to expand the distribution capacity and also the transmission support that enables them to receive power and take home.
Commending the minister's effort at transforming the nation's power sector, the governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, urged him not to rest on his oars, but to assert more effort to tackle the rot in the power sector that holds the breath of the country's economic development.
We worry that because it was the brand available to us, and whatever we have confidence that we could turn it around so that people can begin to focus on the kind of things that we have. We knew that power was key, we knew that market access to market was key, we knew that automation was also key, but 2 years down the line, I'm happy that power has come. Automation is coming, and people are also enjoying broader access to markets. And all of this keeps the sustainability, I think, and we can create the economy for people. For these reasons, I think that the ability without capacity is very, very important.
Charged to stakeholders in the power sector at the 26th Power Sector meeting in Umuahia, the minister stated that the government's position to the operators is that they must step up their game.
Power is now a responsibility for private sector operators. It is private businesses, private businessmen and investors who now have responsibility to take power to the homes, to the offices, to the markets, not government.
He re-emphasized the need for investors to live up to their privatization principles that affords them the opportunity to generate and distribute power to enable the nation's power supply increase and create a viable competition among investors.
This, according to the Minister of Power Works and Housing, will be done as the transmission and distribution infrastructure gradually expands. The minister spoke at the commissioning of the Ohia transmitting station in Umuahia, Abia State.
The federal government has added 40 megawatts mobile power transformer to the 132/33 kV Ohia transmission substation in Umuahia to improve power supply in Abia State. The transformer in Aba transmission substation also received a boost with a 60 MVA transformer. In company of the state governor, Keze Bazu, the Minister of Power Works and Housing says with the inauguration of the transformer in Umuahia, power supply to Umuahia, Bende, Ikuano, or Afia, parts of Arochukwu, is equal to an Umunechi local government areas will improve. The Aba substation will ensure steady and quality power supply to the over 30,000 shops at the Ariara International Market, currently enjoying stable power supply.
To adopt the protocols to be necessary and to say that our focus is on service delivery. And what we come to do here today is one of 90 projects across the country that CCS staff will be completing and commissioning and energizing in the course of this year. So today we are in Umuahia. The capacity of the substation has grown in terms of its need for service, in terms of the population, and in terms of the demand on the Enugu Disco that will use this service to connect and to distribute. The existing capacity is 80 MVA. This mobile transformer adds another 40 MVA and increases that capacity to 120. And communities like Bende, Umuahia, Ohafia, Arochukwu, Isikwato are some of the places that will benefit from this service. Since you have said that you will own this asset like your own, I'm going to invite Your Excellency to cut the tape, commission it, and own it and protect it.
For the Abia State Governor, the commissioning is a welcome development.
It is on this note that I say that with total respect to the will of God, that we commission this substation to the glory of God and service of humanity in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
With this commissioning, electricity consumers in Umuahia and neighboring communities have a cause to smile as the federal government seeks to make life enduring for all Nigerians.
Let's take this time out to hit the home stretch with developments in the housing sector. Don't go away. Welcome back. The flagship plan of the Buhari administration to address the millions of units of annual housing gap in Nigeria is currently on in 33 states. It is what many refer to as a silent revolution in the sector. Let us bring you developments on the project site in Ekiti State, with the site serving as a conduit for the government to empower Nigerians economically through employment as workers on site of the project scattered all over Nigeria.
The 2017 ministerial visitation to the National Housing Scheme in Ado-Ekiti called for the relocation of the project. The new site now is in the heart of Ado-Ekiti beside Obade-Jugbe Hospital. 74 housing units in detached, semi-detached and two-bedroom flats are at different stages of completion. The electrification work is also near completion.
Now, they have already finished all the necessary connection as you see it there. The transformer base has already been in place because as this national housing is, they have two transformers. The two transformers is even there for them to use here. In engineering, they call something space value. This 74 units initially been in place. There is room for expansion in the future. That is where you see one transformer placed at the entrance, another one placed at the interior here. So that in the case of any expansion, at least the transformer in place be capable of giving them full voltage.
So you are saying the transformer here now is even more than...
It's even more than what is there already.
More than enough
for them currently.
Water have always been one big thing to contend with in Ado-Ekiti, but on completion, residents will have nothing to worry about.
The overhead tank is 45,000 liters. While that of underground tank is 75,000 liters. Components, the cylinder that consists of carbon and andolites are yet to be connected. The drilling points, we have about 4 drilling points here. There will be underlay pipe. We will lay pipes to all these flats, all these buildings. From the drill, from this point to all this, the pipes will be laid all over, so that each individual inhabitants, the people that are using each flats, they will have water to use directly. Then there will be lift pump as well to assist, so that is why we have been able to increase the length of the stations. That is what you are seeing that carry the overhead tanks here. Formerly is 12-meter height, but we have added another 3 meters to make it 15 meters high, so as to serve the inhabitants, the occupants, better.
While the bungalows are at different stages, the 24-unit condominium is still at the preliminary.
Our own project is quite different from others, and because this one has to do is a building, is a story, about 3-story building. You understand? More of, if I could say, it's a nice high-rise structure compared to others that are constructing a bungalow. But as it stands now, like I rightly said, that in the next, before the month runs out, we should be through with our substructure. When you are constructing a frame structure, there are some things you need to consider. You don't just, because the curing time, setting time, and other things have to be determined before you progress to other section of the scope of the work.
What be your assessment now so far about the job? Is it progressive?
Yeah, because as at when we started, if anybody that passes will know that something meaningful has been done.
Though 74 units of housing may be too meager to serve the teeming population in need of shelter, when completed, however, it will serve as a succor to those who would be lucky to have the unit.
Still on the National Housing Program, the Oyo State end of the project is also coming on fine. The crew of Infrastructure Weekly visited the site for a situation report on the status of this project.
The 2016 National Housing Scheme in Oyo State, just like other ones in other states, have the building specification outlined in the design.
We have, totality, we have 24. Out of the 24, we have 16 two-bedroom apartments, and we have 4 one-bedroom and 4 3-bedroom.
2 units each are allotted to building contractors, which explains why the structures are at different stages of completion.
As part of the progress, at least for the payment, at least things are well. It has not been forthcoming, but it has been good. At least the payment has been so good and the payment has been coming forth. But what we are trying to say right now is at least if the government can still come up with something like this again. And the road will collapse.
And that's all on this edition of the program. Thank you so much for staying tuned. As the infrastructure program of the Muhammadu Buhari administration gradually eats its peak, play your part in the continued development of Nigeria by paying your tax and protecting public utilities. Thank you so much for watching. I am Sarah Yeku. Join us for another package next week. Until then, let's continue the conversation on the social media handles scrolling on your screen. Bye for now.
We are going to work to ensure that better